One Piece. This is why Loki killed his father. In the Elbaph arc, it is told that Loki killed his own father, King Harald, but there is likely a strong reason behind it. After waiting for so long, fans finally start to enter a new arc, namely Elbaph. Many new characters are introduced, such as Loki, who is the son of the former leader of the region, King Harald. All of Elbaph considers Loki evil for killing his own father. However, the new chapter of One Piece gives clues about the possible reasons why Loki killed his own father. Loki targeted by Emu. Since the beginning of the Elbaph arc, the giants on the island considered Loki a terrible figure with the various crimes he committed. Loki did not only commit one crime. He has committed various crimes which then made him get the nickname Cursed Prince from the residents of Elbaph. How they assume that Loki will bring destruction if his chains are broken could also be another shadow of Loki's evil actions. It is possible that before Loki committed various evil and terrible acts in Elbaph, he had actually earned the nickname of the Cursed Prince. However, his actions to kill his father later made this nickname for Loki even stronger. Since it just appeared in chapter 1130 yesterday, we still don't know how strong and how awesome Loki really is. However, from the reference to the giant figure that mentioned that it took the entire new Giants Warriors pirate crew to tie him up, it could be an idea of how awesome Loki's power is. Then, in the previous chapter, Loki also used his weapon that was similar to Mjolnir, namely Ragnir. One attack from Ragnir was able to burn the Yggdrasil tree because Ragnar's weapon was able to summon a very powerful lightning attack. Interestingly, the awesomeness that has been shown so far has not actually been fully shown considering Loki's condition, which is chained. Because of Loki's strength, and then targeted him to become part of the Holy Knight group. This was shown in the previous chapter, which showed how Gunko and Shamrock deliberately came to Elbaph to invite Loki to join. However, Loki refused the invitation and then Gunko attacked him before Shamrock decided to stop Gunko and invite him to leave. Shamrock himself seemed to accept Loki's decision to reject the invitation even though he might have other plans. As Loki said before, he can face and destroy anyone. This power is likely what him is after. As Vegapunk once said that the world will be destroyed. It is likely that him will use Loki's power to destroy the world. However, on the other hand, there is interesting speculation that Loki is likely not an evil figure. The reason Loki killed his father. As explained above, Loki is considered the Cursed Prince because of the crimes he committed, one of which was killing his father. In the chapter, it is explained that Loki did this to seize the legendary devil fruit that his father had kept. However, there is an interesting theory that could possibly answer why Loki killed his father. In theory, it is explained that Loki was forced to kill his father, King Harald, and the other giants on Elbaph Island because they were controlled by him. As explained in One Piece manga chapter 1149, it is shown how him uses his powers. He is able to control others from afar, as happened to Gunko, where he was controlled by him from the Pangaea Palace. Then, in chapter 1150, we are shown more of Imsama's power. In this case, Imsama uses an ability called Devil's Contract. By using this ability, he is able to turn two giants in Elbaph, Dory and Bragi, into terrifying devil figures. In fact, it is mentioned that the body size of the devil figure is similar to Or's. This also raises an interesting theory that there is a possibility that Loki killed his father and the giants of Elbaph because of Im's influence. His father, King Harald, made a deal with him and became a holy knight. His troops then turned into demonic figures as shown in chapter 1150. Even so, Geralt and Loki were the ones who faced them all. Unfortunately, Geralt then lost his memory. However, Loki kept the memory without telling anyone else. What is happening now is also likely something that happens repeatedly, in the sense that this incident did not just happen once but happened about 14 years ago. About 100 giants died in the battle. This is also what later became the reason for the appearance of the magic circle in Elbaph's palace. Loki sees no other choice but to kill his father. This is because his father has turned into a terrifying demon and works for him and the world government. Loki, like Skapagaban, likely knows about the weaknesses of the Holy Knights and the Gorosei. Loki will likely have a very important and major role in facing Im and Im's demon army. Loki teams up with Luffy. Maybe it sounds quite excessive and the possibility itself is very small for Loki to work with Luffy. However, it is not impossible for this to happen, because Luffy has also collaborated with other parties several times, such as when forming an alliance with Eustace Kid and Trafalgar Law to defeat Big Mom and Kaido. So, even though the possibility is small, an alliance between Luffy and Loki is not impossible. Loki previously mentioned that he would do whatever Luffy wanted if he was willing to release his bonds. On the other hand, Loki also mentioned that he could destroy anyone Luffy wanted. In the previous chapter, it was also shown that Loki knew Shanks, where he was the one who managed to bind Loki and called Shanks a loser pirate, which made Luffy angry. Interestingly, Luffy had made a deal with Loki, but what the deal was about is still a big mystery. In fact, thanks to this deal, Luffy stole the key to the bond from Skapagaban. Which is even more interesting because Skapagaban easily handed over the key to Luffy, which is also still a question mark. Loki seems to have made a deal with Luffy to tell him about what really happened to Shanks in the past in exchange for Luffy to free him. However, seeing the chaotic situation of Elbaph due to the appearance of the demons transformed by Amsama, Loki finally has no choice but to fight with Luffy again to help free Elbaph from the demons. In the fight, we will likely see the awesomeness of Ragnir again, and we will also see other awesomeness from Loki. As Luffy lovers know that Loki so far still does not know what Loki's real awesome power is. Even so, many say that Loki's power could be very awesome, especially in facing the demon army. On the other hand, it is possible that this battle will be the starting point for the destruction of the world that has been predicted before. As previously presented, in the ancient Harley text, it is mentioned that the world is divided into three: First World, Second World, and Third World. Each world is destroyed, and when it is destroyed, it is always related to the figure of the sun god. Currently, the world is in the Third World phase, which means it is only a matter of time before the world is destroyed. And Third World. Each world is destroyed, and when it is destroyed, it is always related to the figure of the sun god. Currently, the world is in the Third World phase, which means it is only a matter of time before the world is destroyed. Moreover, as I mentioned, Mary Geos is in a state of destruction due to being attacked by a still mysterious party, which is likely to be Shanks or the Revolutionary Army. Arigatou gozaimasu. Thanks a lot, Luffy fans.